starting tomorrow, the stuff is in orange and light green.
You can't see it that well?
No,
I'm sorry. That's why I use it only for the terms instead of the whole lines, but okay, fine. What I need to get some more solid colors in because I got like a box of like these light pastels and blacks, but I hardly have any more primary colors. Hey folks, it is December the 15th, and today we're talking about the first third of chapter 27, that's XXVII, and this has to do with the Carthaginian Wars. There's going to be 3 total. We're going to talk about the first one today, at least most of the second one tomorrow, and when we come back from Christmas break, we're going to review them and finish the second one and talk about the third one. We're not going to have an assessment, a test over any of this stuff until at least the second week after we come back from Christmas break. So it's like the week of January the 11th or something. So, all right, so the terms we have on the board are Carthage. How did the last Punic War begin? The Roman Navy, Regulus, and the war's end. So here's the thing. I didn't post yesterday's notes. I'm not going to test you on them, so I didn't post them. But I will post these today, today's and tomorrow's. Well, you see this? I can guarantee you when you come back on your test, you're going to have at least 2 essay prompts based on the Carthaginian Wars, at least 2, because it's a big deal. Kind of like how I would always ask questions about the wars between the Greeks and the Persians. I'm going to do the same thing here for these guys for now, because this is like a big deal for them. This is going to be like, is Rome going to survive or go extinct? Same as Greece. Is Greece going to survive or go extinct? So there we go. One of those pivotal historical moments. Let me show you my images. Gosh, what did I do with it? Here it is. How's it? Here we have in blue on this map is about how far the Carthaginian Empire spread. Now, a lot of their spread was influenced mostly through trade, somewhat through colonization, but they weren't really too big into like conquering a place, getting rid of its people and stuff like that. So you could say they're pretty humane in that sense. Carthage is in the area that has the modern country of Tunisia. And so I think its capital, Tunis, is right here to the west of ancient Carthage. There's still a lot of ruins there today. I was fortunate enough in the end of was it 99? No, the end of 2000 to be in Tunisia, and I got to see some of those ruins. It's actually a very, very pretty coastline and stuff. It's a pretty cool country. I wouldn't recommend living there though. Like extreme poverty, and they don't really like Americans very much. But anyway, Carthage was very famous for, of course, being a very wealthy city. It was ruled by an oligarchy, so you can think of them as like super rich elders who had a council. Now they did have a king, but it was the oligarchy that really ruled over things. And see, they had their very famous harbor, which they could close off. They had extremely thick protective walls, and their navy could come in and dock, like essentially park in all these little parking spaces to get resupplied and repaired, and of course defended. And so it'd be a hard thing for people to take over. Now your book said that the land is fertile, and yes, it is up to the coast. But the thing is if you go too far into country, you come across a lot of super thick, dense mountains where not really much other than thorn bushes grow. And below that, further south, is the Sahara Desert. So they have to make a lot of their wealth, not necessarily based on what they can grow or what they can do at home, but what they can trade with, and by facilitating that trade. So they get really rich doing that. So Carthaginians, you have kind of like this mix of their culture is a mixture of North African, but also it's also a mixture of Greek culture and a mixture of what you would think of Mesopotamian or like African, I mean, not African, like Iraq, like Babylon. And so you see some of their dress, it's very similar to the Romans in some way, as far as their generals. Oh, yeah, fancy pants. Their manner of warfare is going to be similar to the Legion. They are Baal worshippers, kind of like if you know from the Old Testament of the Bible. So they did practice human sacrifice, usually through immolation. Especially in times of distress, they were known for immolating babies.
What's immolated?
That's burned to death.
Oh,
Yeah.
so ashes.
Nice
Well,
people.
you start out like the way you are, but yeah, you end up ashes.
Baby ashes.
So
Did they burn them and then eat the ashes?
no, they weren't. They weren't cannibals, but they did practice human sacrifice occasionally.
Is it cannibals if you're eating this?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's how it
Camels.
works.
that sounds like it. I mean, yeah. So you see their artwork. This is very Romanesque. So yeah, this looks like something you would see like in the ruins of Pompeii, or like in an underground mausoleum in Rome.
In Pompeii. Like the biggest one.
Oh yeah, poor Achilles.
Achilles et Matera.
Or Grumio, he turned into ashes.
No, Ruby actually lives.
He did. I thought he
But everyone else presumably dies.
I never made it through all of the blue
This
books.
one's not dead today.
So here we see their boats were much like the Greek triremes, but the Carthaginians were very good at starting to develop angled sails so they can start using wind power more effectively than the Greeks.
There's an eyeball.
Oh yeah. And here's the beak. When they talk about the beaks, remember that's this bronze-tipped ramming beak. However, the Romans, when they built their navy, they're going to build something called a rostrum, which also means beak. And it's going to be essentially a drawbridge with a spike on it. That way they could pull up to the other boats. And since they weren't good sailors, they were good warriors. And so they could go across these drawbridges and go to hand-to-hand fighting with the Carthaginians.
You're on a boat and now you're fighting.
Here's that. What's the word? That pillar, that trophy they made for what was his name? Duilius, the one Roman consul who led a major naval victory. And here you see the anchors and also the beaks of those Carthaginian ships hosted as kind of like a victory signal. This is Regulus. So if you remember, he was a Roman consul who's going to invade Africa. He's going to be captured. And the Carthaginians are going to make a deal with him. And they're like, all right, you go back to Rome and you get a prisoner exchange. And if you ask for peace, we'll let you go. He's like, okay, I'll do it. But when he went to Rome, when he went to Rome, because he swore an oath that if he didn't do it, he would return for punishment. And so he, instead of telling the Romans to surrender, he says, fight on, you're brave Romans, don't quit. And then he says, okay, I made an oath I'd go back to Carthage, bye-bye now. And they're like, why stop, what are you doing, are you stupid? And he says, no, I'm honorable. And so he goes back, and we're not quite
he
sure.
technically did it, Regus promised.
He didn't, yeah, he told them, yeah, now he didn't, he was like, I can't tell you to quit, but I can tell you to fight on. And so he goes back. There's different stories about how they tortured him to death. One is that they put him inside of a barrel full of very, very sharp nails and rolled him down hills until he stopped moving. Another is that they buried him through immersion and just buried him alive.
Dang. I think getting buried alive is worse because you just get suffocated in the deep.
They say it's pretty bad, right?
You know, I think if he knew that he was going to die, why didn't he just kill himself? I mean, that would put under the like.
It's not honorable.
It wasn't his oath. It wasn't his oath. Now Romans would do that. It wasn't his
Why
oath.
did he go over there and just say hi here and then stab himself?
He wanted. Well, it's the same like remember Scott, like the left-handed guy, right? He's like so defiant. He's like, I don't care. He can do whatever he wants to me. He's living that Roman virtue. He's like, I don't fear pain. I don't fear punishment. None of that. What I fear is dishonor.
And
So-
scary people with masks, like clowns.
Well, I mean, they were superstitious, yeah, but he just couldn't let his honor go away. It was more important to him than his life.
Yeah.
All right. So, and which, yes, he did lose it. All right, so Carthage. Carthago de Linda S. We'll get to that later. So, what kind of city was Carthage before the
trading
war? A trading city. How did they trade?
Lots, they did it a lot.
With chips.
Yeah. Trading city. Strong fleet and navy. Where were they located?
Like, Mark.
Carthage.
Yeah, North Africa. Let's see, in North Africa.
Carthage. Trading city or trending?
Trading.
Trading, sir.
Oh.
So North Africa. And anything else you can think of about these folks?
Enemy of
They were
Rome.
Phoenicians.
Phoenicians, yeah. Well, they're kind of related to Phoenicians because the Phoenicians actually lived closer to Israel, but they were of Greek origin. And so like
Origin.
origin.
It lit- Yeah, like,
Sorry.
it's a word.
Tomato, tomato, tomato.
Tomato,
Potato,
potato,
Right.
tater.
All right, so in North Africa,
Oh, tater.
and here's the thing. Maybe they expanded their empire. Empire over Africa and into Europe and Sicily. Now, like you saw on the map, they already moved into places like Sardinia and places like that. Romans didn't really care. That was kind of too far for them anyways. But Sicily was really close to the little tippy tip of the boot of Italy. So, got that? All right. How did the First Punic War begin? How did that first war with Carthage start? What was it over? Like, it was kind of complicated.
Pretty much a disagreement over who got the island.
What island?
Sicily.
Yeah, Sicily. So, yeah, what happened is that essentially Italians in Sicily asked Rome to fight their rivals. They're like, hey, Rome, we're really getting beat up here. How about you help us out? Or we're going to join Carthage. They're like, oh, gosh, no, we'll help you. So Rome aided them. So Carthage wouldn't gain strength.
And then the people in the city, and now we want to, kind of just said, and now we want to work with Carthage. So
Yeah.
that happened.
Yeah, Carthage declared war to help their allies. So what you have here is you just have two really big, powerful neighbors, and the little guys are kind of playing the neighbors against one another. Sicily used to do this with the Greek city-states. They'd play the Greek city-states against one another. So they thought they could do the same thing with the Romans and the Carthaginians. But they're going to find that the Romans are going to win, and the Romans are a lot more cruel than the Greeks or the Carthaginians. Bless you. Well, cruel or strict? I don't know. Take a pick. All right. So, did Romans start out having a strong navy?
No.
Yeah.
They didn't even know how to build a ship yet.
Yeah, poor guys.
They never did. I thought a ship washed up on the shore to copy it.
Yeah.
If that didn't happen, everything but a Carthage ship.
With no navy.
They got beat by their own friends.
They totally lucked out though, and this sounds like human ingenuity and can-do spirit. So they find like this janky wrecked boat, they take it apart, rebuild new ones. They use it as a model, measurements and all. And then they have guys who are like pretending to row while the other guys are putting boats together. So, they're like, I don't know how you call it, like dry firing a boat. I don't know. So
You're gonna
Rome
break
started
those.
out with no navy. Luckily,
Why'd you capitalize so?
it's just so important, sir. Wait, where did I do that?
Where?
Oh, up there? I don't know. I disagree. I think it's not. So, luckily, a Carthaginian warship was shipwrecked. And how many boats did they build?
Like
100?
250.
120?
It took down the whole forest, supposedly.
Yeah, so
And
there's a
six-
little exaggeration probably put in this.
and like 60 days, which is probably more.
Yeah, building boats is supposed
That's
to
like
really
2 a day.
take a long time.
That's 22 books every day.
Romans modeled a new
Push chopping down the tree.
navy after it.
You can make 2 ships in one day, but you're gonna do preparations for every single day.
Well, there's one thing about this though, is you'll see Romans were very stubborn. They don't quit. So
Sir,
they live for honor. Yeah.
can I get a point on something that I'm confused?
Yeah. What's that?
What is this dot?
That's supposed to be an
That's
I.
the lowercase I.
Yeah, it's a little.
Luckily.
I messed up my K.
Oh, there's one right there, okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Luckily.
Yeah, okay.
Luckily.
All right, so Regulus. So, it was Regulus.
He was honorable. He was a general man.
Yeah. So we'll just call him a Roman leader. I think he was a consul who led
Okay.
troops in battle. Roman leader, caught and captured in Africa.
Wait,
I'm waiting.
why is there an I and luckily?
Luckily.
Luckily,
There is an
that's
I, luckily.
Oh, there's not.
Yes, there
There
is.
is.
Luckily. 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 Look it up.
Man,
Luckily.
y'all are so.
Illy.
It's not all of you, but some of y'all are like so into particulars that you don't get the big picture. It's just okay.
I thought it was luck.
It's like
No, that just says
So-
luckily.
Luckily.
That's just
Luckle.
it's like taking somebody on a field trip, and I'm like, hey, look at the beautiful forest. And you're just too busy looking at like a piece of bark. You're just like, why is this
It's
this?
weird.
So Roman leader captured in
So is there an
Africa,
I in there?
Yes.
Yes.
That's
sent to Rome
It's right. You're wrong. You're
to ask for peace. What does he say?
no.
No.
Yeah. He said, fight on. And returned to Carthage. Ooh. They weren't too happy about that.
No. They were not.
They were probably pretty surprised. What are you doing here?
And they were almost impressed.
Didn't even-
No, they probably were impressed. They just
Like, what
still tortured him.
It was it's a red.
That is.
Like, are all Romans like this?
Police.
All right. So the war's end. So how long was this war?
It was like 24 years.
How did that was so long the peace between them?
24 years.
I think it was 24 years long. I think Jacob's right. So
Wasn't it Regulus? What's it called? Oh, what's it called? Starts with a C. A consul.
yes, he was. So I just put leader here because I'm lazy. All right. So war lasted 24 years.
How long?
What did the Romans get in peace?
Sicily, money, and peace.
Yeah. Sicily and money. That's pretty much it. But it's not gonna be a lasting peace because we're gonna see a guy called Hamilcar is gonna be really mad about all this. And he's not gonna be able to take revenge on Rome, but his son is. And
Like
so-
the Grendel second series.
oh yeah. You know what? I don't,
Comic book, not the Beowulf poem.
yeah, see, I've read Beowulf, but I never even after that.
We're gonna have to read
There's a
that
very
one
good
next
Grendel
time.
poem.
No. This guy wasn't a cannibal. Hey,
What's the difference?
That definition is-
a lot. All right, so that's going to end our lecture today. We're going to have another lecture tomorrow, but then that's going to be it. No lecture Thursday or Friday. And no more assessments until we come back from Christmas break. So you have a good one. I'll see you later.
Second highest.